Hello guys, today I'm going to talk about myself. Why do I speak English so bad? As you can see, I'm on a playground. You can see? Can you see? It's a playground. And no one is here except me, so it's really quiet. Melbourne is becoming cold and windy and raining. And this is typical Melbourne weather. It's my second winter in Melbourne. I have been back to Australia for about 1.5 months, and the weather is becoming more and more cold, and I have to look after myself because if I get sick, no one can take me to hospital because I don't have family member here. And I don't have girlfriend, so I don't have girlfriend. If I'm becoming sick, no one can take me to hospital, so I have to take care of myself in the winter. Okay, let's talk about something about myself today. So the topic is, why do I speak English so bad? I know that I speak English really bad, even though I stayed in Australia. I lived in Australia for a long time. Just as I said, it's my second winter in Melbourne, but I wasn't living in Melbourne before. I lived in Tasmania, I lived in New South Wales, and I lived in Victoria. So I lived in different parts of Australia, and it has been for a long time. I think it has been the first time I came to Australia. It was 2013, so it's 8 years. It has been 8 years already. So after I lived in Australia for 8 years, I still speak English so bad, and the reason is the reason is various. So basically, there are different reasons to explain this. One thing I want to admit that I will never change my accent. So I will always have a Chinese accent. I always speak Chinese accented English, and I wasn't very happy about this before. But now I become very comfortable with my accent. As long as I can make a conversation with people, I think that is the purpose of using a language. So I'm not a grammar professional, and I don't want to be a grammar professional. I make many mistakes in grammar, and I have strong accent. I have Chinese accent. But I can talk with people. I can converse with people. I can make a conversation with people, and that's enough. And I think that's enough for me as a speaker, as a person speaking English as foreign language. I think that's enough for me, because I'm not a linguistic professional, or something like that. So I have lived in Australia for 8 years, but my English is still very bad. Even though I don't care about my accent, but I know that my English is really bad. So why? What's the reason about this? I think the reason is various, just as I said. But I think the primary reason is you don't get to know Australian. So I think the primary reason is you just don't have many opportunity to speak English. I think this reason applies to most international students from China. So my background is I was born in China, so I came from China. I came to Australia first time as a Chinese international student, and I'm a guy. So my background is a guy from China. You don't meet many people like China in Australia, and it's very hard to make long-term friends with Australian people. And because I'm a guy, so it's pretty hard to get an Australian girlfriend. I know there are many Chinese girls. They have Australian, or they have boyfriends from English-speaking countries. Because I think there are quite many guys like Asian women. But unfortunately, I'm an Asian guy, so it's very hard. The Australian women, they don't have preference in dating Asian guy in terms of having relationship. So unfortunately, I never dated any Australian women in the past 8 years. And I think if I have a Australian partner, if I have an Australian girlfriend, and I speak English with to my Australian girlfriend every day, my English will be much better than now. But unfortunately, I never had a chance to have a Australian girlfriend, so I don't have partner that I can talk to her every day in English. I think this is the primary reason. And the second reason is I have some Australian friends, and that's why I can, my English improved in the past 8 years. Um, but you don't meet your friends every day, especially I move around Australia. So most of my friends that I have in Australia are from New South Wales. And after I moved because I studied in New South Wales, and when I was studying my university in New South Wales, I met some, Australian friends. But after I moved to Victoria, you don't talk to your old friends as you were talking to them before. Yeah, so that's a reason. Yeah, so so I don't know if you can understand this video. If you don't have experience of being international friends, you probably wouldn't understand how international students feel when they study in foreign countries. So the first thing is for people like me, came from China and a guy, it's really hard for people like me to have an Australian English-speaking partner. And the second thing is we usually move around. We don't stay in one city all the time, so we can't keep a friendship like locals do. And basically it means after graduation, I usually move to other cities to look for a job. I don't just stay in one city. And I would, so I don't hold long-term, friendship with my friends in Australia. So yeah, that explains why I can't have many opportunities to speak English. So the second, so I think this is the primary reason. Of course, there are some other reasons, and so for example, the other reasons came from I was growing up in China, so China is not an English-speaking country, so I don't have chance to speak English in China before I came to Australia at all. And my parents, they don't speak English, so I was growing up in Chinese speaking environment, and I was always speaking English as my foreign language. When I talk to my friends back in China, I needed to speak Chinese, because if I talk to my Chinese friends in China in English, they will sort of like look down upon me, like they will sort of judge me. They will become judgmental. They will say, "Oh, why do you speak English to us? It's weird." So I don't have a chance to talk to I don't have the chance to speak English with my friends back in China, and yeah. So that explains why I don't speak English very often. And I studied in Chinese public school, so that means I didn't have very good English teacher. And my English teacher in China, she couldn't speak English herself. She was teaching English. She was teaching me grammar. But but I seldom had a chance to speak English out, to talk to someone in English before I came to China. So my English education is based on I don't know how to explain that. So basically my English education before in China is a failure. So I didn't have any chance to speak English. I don't know how to speak English before I came to Australia at all. Yeah, and my teacher, she couldn't know how to teach us to speak English out. Yeah, I know there are students who can speak in English even though they studied in China, but I think many of those students are from international school in China. So those students, they can speak English well even before they came to English-speaking countries because they were studying in international school. But I didn't. I was studying Chinese public school, so I didn't have a good quality English education at all. Yeah, so this is today's video. If you have any questions about Australia, or if you have any questions about how to study in Australia as an international student, you can message me. You can put a comment in the comment section, or if you have any comments, just put it put it on the comment question. Yeah, bye bye guys.